So almost a year ago, my husband and I switched from using traditional health insurance to using and being a part of a health cost sharing ministry. So when we were making the switch over to using a health cost sharing ministry, I had tons of questions. I was a little nervous. And if you are in the same spot considering switching over to a health cost sharing ministry, I'm sure that you probably have tons of questions yourself. So I'll do my best to answer all the questions, at least that I had and that you guys have shared with me. I want to put all those worries at rest because really using a health cost sharing ministry has been such a blessing for us. So a little sneak peek, we did choose to go with a health cost sharing ministry called Christian Healthcare Ministries, and we love them. So I'll share a little bit about why we chose them, why we love them so far, our experience with them, and answer all of your questions that you may have about them. Christian Healthcare Ministries does offer a really awesome referral program. So I'll be sharing our referral link in the show notes below. So if you do choose to switch over to Christian Healthcare Ministries, I'd be super tickled if you used our referral link. It does earn us a discount on our monthly contributions at no extra cost to you. So I really do appreciate all of your support. Anyway, I am going to be sharing with you a little bit more about what a health cost sharing ministry is to see if it's something that might be really beneficial for you, and sharing a little bit about why we love Christian Healthcare Ministries, the program that we're a part of. And so with that, we'll get to it. Hey, if you're new around here, my name is Katie Jones. I am a faith-based money coach helping young professionals learn excellent money management skills that are rooted in the gospel. Here on my channel, I share practical and biblical money tips. That way you can start living abundantly, giving generously, and radically advancing the kingdom of God. If this all sounds awesome to you, I would encourage you to subscribe to my channel so you never miss out on a video. In this video, I am going to do my best to answer all of the questions that you may have about switching to a medical cost sharing ministry, as well as answering any questions you have about Christian Healthcare Ministries. But if I don't answer a question or you have questions along the way, please leave them down in the comments below and I'll be sure to get back to you as soon as I can. So what is a health cost sharing ministry anyway? Honestly, a health cost sharing ministry is exactly what it sounds like. It is a ministry where all of the members who are part of it get to share their medical burdens with each other, which makes their medical costs a lot lower than paying for everything out of pocket. Medical sharing ministries work pretty similar to health insurance. However, they are not health insurance, and when it comes to taxes and all of that kind of stuff, they're not the same. They're not considered the same at all. But they work very similarly in the fact that you are paying a little bit to have your health costs shared. One of the really cool things that sets apart health cost sharing ministries from traditional insurance is the faith aspect to them. Typically, when you join a health cost sharing ministry, you do have to sign some kind of lifestyle covenant stating that you are going to abide by their kind of faith statement and lifestyle guidelines. So a few of the kind of popular health cost sharing ministries out there are ones like MediShare, Samaritan Ministries, and then Christian Healthcare Ministries. When we were doing our research, these were the three that I primarily looked at. And so there are some other smaller ones out there, but these are kind of the three big name ones that we took a look at when we were examining different health cost sharing ministries. And obviously at the end of all of our examining, we did decide to go with Christian Healthcare Ministry. So this is actually the spreadsheet that I put together when we were doing our examining of the different health cost sharing ministries compared to our traditional insurance that we had in the beginning, which was with Cigna. I didn't really put a lot of information here just because I was mostly taking a look at the different costs that we were going to incur. We were pretty set on moving over to a health cost sharing ministry. We've heard so many really great things from other people in the beginning, and kind of had made up our minds that we were going to make the switch to be able to save more money. So we were really examining the differences between these three ministries specifically. So in general, these are some of the different plans that each of the ministries had. This, I do want to kind of have a little full disclosure, these numbers may be different by the time that you're watching this. I did do a little bit of updating before making this video, but for the most part, it's all from early in 2021. So whenever you're watching this video, make sure to go and check the websites. They may have updated things. For example, I do know in the near future, Christian Healthcare Ministries is bumping up their prices. These are not the updated prices for 2022. So please do some of your own due diligence and research before switching over to any of these three. So with that out of the way, you can just kind of see some of the basic things that we were really looking at, including what was kind of like their deductible. And because they aren't insurance, they're not technically a deductible. It's what you're responsible for before any of your medical costs can be shared with the ministry. So we looked at that. We were originally going to have a $6,000 deductible. With Christian Healthcare Ministries, we are actually on their gold plan, which basically means that whenever we have any kind of medical event that all of the bills total $500 or more, that medical event, every single bill is 100% covered. So this is really cool because for us, we wanted to be on this medical plan because everything when it comes to pregnancy is 100% covered. So there's no like out of pocket at the end of the day for us. And this was extremely enticing to us and probably was the number one thing that pushed us over the line to going towards Christian Healthcare Ministries versus any of the other ones. And so with MediShare specifically, you would have your kind of like home sharing price, whatever is out of pocket for you, and then everything else can be covered up to a $125,000 limit. So you have to meet these first. So for us, we don't have any kind of like out of pocket expense before our bills can be shared. Everything is actually shared with Christian Healthcare Ministries, but we do have to meet that $500 minimum. So for example, if you end up needing to go to urgent care and then they give you some kind of prescription for something, and that urgent care bill plus the prescription only come out to like $200 or $300, that's totally 100% on you. It doesn't go towards any kind of deductible or family sharing amount at all. It's just simply out of pocket for you. So that is something that we have taken into account. But it's really great because, I personally have gone through now like a knee issue where I got surgery, and everything, including my very first urgent care visit up to all of my physical therapy, that is 100% shared. There are some bills that I paid for out of pocket, but will be reimbursed by Christian Healthcare Ministries because of the plan that we're on. So it's just, honestly, it's pretty amazing how they are able to do that. So another thing that we did look at were like emergencies with Christian Healthcare Ministries. Again, if you meet the minimum like kind of balance here, like whatever plan you're on, everything is 100% covered if the amount is total to like whatever your minimum is. And so for us, in the case of an emergency, the bill would probably be over $500. So everything would be 100% covered. With MediShare specifically, they do have a $200 fee no matter what the emergency is. Christian Healthcare Ministries doesn't have any kind of preventative care covered, so that's all out of pocket for us. And again, something that we chose and that was okay with us because we have an emergency fund and we have the savings put aside for those expenses. They offer discounts for prescriptions, but they don't cover anything unless they're related to some kind of incident, like medical incident. So for example, I had prescriptions with my knee surgery, and so those do get covered. Another really cool thing that we love about Christian Healthcare Ministries is that there is no in-network or out-of-network. And so literally we can choose to go wherever we want, which was so great for me when picking a place to do my knee surgery and to do my physical therapy and everything. I basically just found whatever was closest to my house. But I also was looking at the costs because I did want to be a good steward of the ministry's resources, because basically whatever I choose to get covered or whatever medical expense I choose is what is going to be shared with the rest of the ministry. And so I'm a little conscious of that and want to make sure that I am being a good steward and being wise in those decisions. However, I got to choose exactly what hospital I wanted to go to, what surgeon I wanted to use, where I wanted to do physical therapy. There was no, is this in network and out of network? Medishare does have like a network, but they don't make you go to their network, it sounds like. And again, this is just from research and doing some reading online. But if you don't use kind of like their network of places that they have partnerships with, you may not have all of your bills covered or not have them all shareable within the ministry. So that is something that that was just kind of appealing to us. And then CHM does offer kind of a telehealth option, which is really cool, as well as the telehealth portal that we are a part of does offer discounts for online counseling and things like that, which is super cool. Medishare does have telehealth. Our traditional insurance did have a telehealth option as well. So this was something that also, we had been using before and we wanted to be able to continue to use as well. And then I do want to make you aware that with the lower level programs with Christian Healthcare Ministries, they don't include maternity bills. So that was one of the reasons why we did choose their gold program. We both have to be on the gold program in order to have any maternity kind of related expenses covered. And so that is why we did choose to go with their gold level plan versus like a silver or bronze. In the future, we may consider switching down to a lower level, but everything from like urgent care in most needs is included on the gold level. Basically, everything is pretty much included as long as the bills reach over $500, then 100% of it is covered. So that is just like, it's super cool, really exciting to know that whenever we have any kind of emergency or anything, that's all going to be covered and shared inside of the ministry that we're a part of. Samaritan is pretty cool too, because they do have a $400 initial like unshareable amount, but then everything past that is shared. So it's very similar to CHM, except for the fact that you still do have that $400 out of pocket, and then everything after that is shared. One of the things we also do really love with Christian Healthcare Ministries is they have what's called the prayer page. So if you do go over with if you go over your limit, or if you have a pre-existing condition, you can share it on the prayer page, and then people can, if they give extra, then your need can be met, which is super, super cool. And most of the time, all of the needs are met. In fact, I think up to this point, the 40 years, all of those prayer page needs have been met. We get newsletters that say if every member gives $5 extra this month, then all of the needs on the prayer page get covered. And so most of the time we do end up giving a little extra, because $5 extra, yeah, great. If I can, contribute that for the needs of others, heck yeah, I love doing it. Okay, one of the questions that you guys had asked me in the comments on my Instagram page and everything before creating this video was, what about the Affordable Cares Act? So members of Health Cost Sharing Ministries are actually exempt from the Affordable Cares Act, and so it's okay to have a medical cost sharing ministry. There's no penalties or anything like that, so you are good to go. Unfortunately, due to the current tax laws and codes and everything, health cost sharing ministries are not actual insurance. Again, like they're very clear that we're not insurance and everything, but because of that, they are not eligible for health savings accounts, HSAs. And that is one of the biggest downfalls to having a health cost sharing ministry, and was something that we were really, really bummed about, that we wouldn't be able to continue to contribute to our HSA. We still have it from having it previously, but we can't make any new contributions to it. So it is kind of a bummer, but in the end, all of the savings that we have been having because of the switch that we've made, it's definitely been worth it to save that money in the long run. So a few things that I just want you to be aware of if you do choose to switch to a health cost sharing ministry is that you do need to sign some kind of lifestyle covenant or faith statement stating that you will abide by their lifestyle rules and policies, and they typically align with the Bible. So for Christian Healthcare Ministries, they have all these biblical principles that you have to sign off on, saying that you you do agree to live your life this way according to these biblical principles. And so if you are a believer and it is, you're already living this biblical lifestyle according to, what God wants us to be doing, then it's really not a big commitment to be making, because it's something that you are probably already committed to. Another thing I do want you to be aware of, and that it has been something that's been a bit of a learning curve for us, is that switching over from using a traditional health insurance to now being a part of a health cost sharing ministry, there is a lot more work on your part. There's a lot more work that we have to do, because it's not just like giving your card over, your health insurance card, to a medical provider, and then they kind of take care of the rest behind the scenes, and then you just get told what you pay, and it's kind of like a lot easier than being a part of a health cost sharing ministry. There's a lot more legwork on our part, and that was something that personally I was willing to do. But I do want to make sure that you're aware that if you do make that switch, there's a little bit more you are involved in when it comes to paying bills and making sure they're shared with the ministry and everything like that. And so you just have to be aware of that. In order to kind of keep everything really organized and make sure that none of the bills fall through the cracks, I've created a really fun, fancy, not super fancy, but kind of fancy spreadsheet to keep track of all of our medical expenses, to make sure that none of them are falling through the cracks. I'm actually going to be offering it for free, and so if you are interested in grabbing it, I have a link for you to grab that down below in the show notes. Now I want to share a few things about what we actually really love about being a part of Christian Healthcare Ministries. CHM has now been around for 40 years. They have 40 years worth of experience and bill sharing, and over 40 years, they have shared over $6 billion worth of medical expenses. They've never not been able to meet the needs of their ministry members. And so just that history that they've had, and just being able to continue to be a part of such a thriving ministry was something that we really, really valued. So, I know a lot of people are scared about switching over to a health cost sharing ministry because they're like, well, what if people don't share the expenses? What if our bills don't end up getting covered and all of it's on our shoulders? CHM and Medishare have shared all of their bills year after year and have never failed to share the bills. And so just that rich history of sharing is so cool, and something that we weren't really scared or nervous about after reading about their history and seeing the patterns that they had in the past. Another really cool thing about CHM is their prayer page, which I've kind of mentioned already, but we really love it because if we do go over their sharing limit, they have the prayer page, which most of those needs have always been covered. And so we, again, weren't really nervous about our bills not being able to be shared, because they have this awesome ministry extra, people giving extra towards the ministry to have everybody else's medical bills covered. And so I just love how this is such a cool example of the body of Christ coming together and lifting each other and taking on each other's burdens. And it's simply like an extra $5 a month that people are contributing. But because of that, all these extra needs are able to be covered. One other thing we really, really loved and why we chose CHM was that they don't really have like a deductible. If you have a need, a medical need or a medical incident that all of the bills total come out to more than whatever your minimum amount is, 100% of that is totally shared. And so for us, being on their gold level plan, that minimum is $500. So any need that is over $500 is 100% covered. And at the end of the day, we don't end up spending any extra out of pocket. So another question that people are always asking are, do they actually pay the bills? And yeah, they actually do. I received my very first $600 check in the mail from Christian Healthcare Ministries after submitting some bills. They do go through a little bit of a process, which I'll explain in a little bit, but they do send you a check in the mail to either reimburse you for the expenses that you've already paid, or to be able to go and then pay for those expenses that you may not have paid already. So the process to get all of your bills covered, again, is a little bit more legwork than having traditional insurance. And so I'm going to share with you the steps that it takes to get your bills covered with Christian Healthcare Ministries. So the first thing is that you go to the doctor, you let them know that you're a self-pay patient and that you're going to need an itemized bill for the expenses that you are getting. I highly recommend doing this even if you feel like this need may not be shared with the ministry, because if it does end up turning into anything, you do want to have those itemized bills so that you can share them immediately. Once you receive the bills, if you didn't already receive any kind of self-pay discounts, give them a call, let them know that you're a self-pay patient, and ask them if they offer any kind of discounts for self-pay patients. You'd be surprised at the kind of discounts that you can get as a self-pay patient. My surgery had a 55% discount on it. That was insane to me. 55%. That was like so crazy. But most places do offer some kind of really great discount, 20, 30, 40%, even up to 50 and 60%. So definitely make sure you call. And even if you don't, when you send in your bills to CHM, they're going to make sure that you have received the greatest amount of discount possible before they end up sending you the money in the mail to go pay those bills. So then after you ask for those discounts, you have to go to CHM's website, to your member portal, fill out the forms that explain the experience that you've had, what your medical need is, and all of the expenses that you've had a part of it. You can fill out a prayer page sheet as well if you feel like your medical expenses are going to go over your limit. You send them all of the bills as they come in. Again, make sure they are itemized. They'll let you know if you send any bills that aren't itemized, so be sure to keep on alert for any emails or notifications you receive from CHM. And then after that, you wait for approval. It typically takes around 60 days to get everything approved and get your checks in the mail. And then once you get your checks in the mail, make sure to pay all of your medical providers promptly. CHM does require that you stay in good standings with all of your medical providers and not incurring any kind of extra fees for paying late. And so if you do have any fees, those are going to be on your shoulders, not the ministry's. Some perks that we really love about CHM is that they offer a telehealth option that's totally free. And so that's really, really great and helps us keep costs really low. We also really love their prayer page. It's super cool to see how everybody kind of comes together to lift each other's burdens off of their shoulders and share each other's medical needs, even when they go over the maximum limit that everybody has to share. And so it's really cool. For an extra few dollars a month that you can give to the ministry, these prayer page needs can be met. We also love that we're saving so much money. We were paying close to like $600 a month before, and now we're paying less than $400 for the two of us. And so that alone was so awesome. We also really love that it's a faith-based option. This means that CHM won't pay for things that don't agree with their lifestyle covenant. And so because of that, we know that we're not paying for anything that we don't believe in. Another really cool thing about CHM is that they do actually try to help those who have pre-existing conditions. I highly recommend checking out their page to see the level of shareability of all of your needs, because they do actually try to help share some of your burden. While it may not cover all of your medical expenses, they do want to try and help out with some of them. Another really great thing is that their customer service has been awesome. I've always been able to get on the phone with someone when I have questions, or email in any questions as well, and I always get really prompt responses. And everybody on the phone is so wonderful and so sweet. They always let me know that they're praying for me, and they're just so caring, because I know the other person on the other side of the phone is a believer as well. And so there's just this really great camaraderie and community sense that you get with being a part of Christian Healthcare Ministries. So I do want to be honest about some of the kind of downfalls about being a part of a health cost sharing ministry. One of those being that it is a lot more work than being a part of just a traditional health insurance. And so you have to be ready to do that work, to be on the phone a little bit more often, kind of being an advocate for yourself as well as the ministry, trying to get discounts, and being sure to promptly provide all of your medical bills to Christian Healthcare Ministries. There is a lot more on your your own shoulders than just a traditional health insurance. Another downfall is that they don't allow HSAs, which is a really, really big bummer. But again, the savings alone has been totally worth it. And then another kind of downfall is that it may take a little bit for your medical bills to be shared because they do go through a process of examining and making sure that they meet the guidelines and everything along those lines. But again, the legwork is definitely worth it in order to save the money. So who does a medical cost sharing ministry make sense for? I would definitely say you have to be a Christian. It just makes the most sense for Christians. There are options out there that are not specifically faith-based. It also makes sense for those who are looking to save money. That was definitely one of the biggest reasons we did switch over. Not only was it a really great faith-based option where we can come together as the body of Christ, but we were saving tons of money in the process. It also makes sense for people who have a little bit of extra emergency fund or cash funds set aside for health-related expenses, because there are times where you will need to pay for things up front. And because of that, you want to make sure you have the money to be able to pay for those and then have that waiting period in between paying and getting that money reimbursed from the ministry. All right, that's it for this video. I hope you found this super helpful in making your decision to switch over to a medical cost sharing ministry or not. And if you still have any questions about making the switch or about Christian Healthcare Ministries in general, please let me know in the comments and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. And again, if you choose to switch over to Christian Healthcare Ministries, I do have a referral link in the show notes below, and it would be super awesome if you used our referral link. And again, it's no extra cost to you, and I do super appreciate your support. All right, take care. Hey, thanks so much for watching. I hope you found this video helpful. For more awesome money tips, tools, and resources, join me and other ambitious young professionals who are passionate about becoming more like Jesus through the way that they are managing their money inside of my community, Redeeming Your Finances. I host live monthly money trainings as well as offer mini courses to help you jumpstart your path to biblical financial freedom. See you soon.